York, the atmosphere, and the crowd that never tame. Mets post-game show brings the flame.
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the New York Mets post-game show. It is a lovely Thursday, June 26th, 2025, and the New York Mets are victorious twice in a row against the Atlanta Braves. They even upped this series at 2 apiece. It was a 4-game set, and it was a much needed win for our New York Mets as they improved to 48-34 on the season by a score of 4-0. And we've got a lot to talk about in this post-game show about this game, recapping this game 4 in this series between these two teams. Before we go ahead and do so, please smash those thumbs up buttons. It means the world. I definitely appreciate all the support. I'm here solo doing this post game. Rob had some prior commitments. Zach had some prior commitments. We're all traveling to Pittsburgh, by the way, to tomorrow. Myself, Rob, and Zach are all going to be at the Pittsburgh series tomorrow and Saturday. And I had to come on here and talk about this game. So we will be in Pittsburgh. If anybody else is going to be in Pittsburgh for this series, let us know. We'd love to meet up, have a chat, and just talk about this team because this team is back. Maybe? Are they? I don't know. You let me know in the live chat section of this stream. Please respond to the live chat poll. Do you think the Mets are back after such a rough stretch of games over the last 12 games? 2 wins against the Braves after going 0-5 against this very team. Are they back? Are you confident? And in addition to that, please smash the thumbs up buttons. Subscribe to the channel as always if you're a new viewer. I would definitely appreciate that. More pre-games, more post-games, more shorts, more videos in between. I got you all covered throughout this entire season and into the off season. It never stops with this team because this is a Mets channel 24/7, 365. Oh, and by the way, drop those comments in the live chat as well because I'm going to be propping up some of these comments as well. But before I prop up some of these comments, you know what we have to do. We spam those W's, baby. 2 wins in a row against a division rival. The Mets are victorious. Spam those W's in the live chat. Let's go. Mets win. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. Look at all these W's flowing through the chat. It is awesome. W, W, W. It's awesome to see, and I definitely appreciate you all being here with me on this late night approaching 10 p.m. East Coast time. Ken is spamming the W's. Committee spamming the W's. Michael, Frank, everybody's spamming the W's, and I absolutely love it. 4-0 victory, 9 hits to 3 in favor of the New York Mets, 48-34. And oh, by the way, if you didn't pay attention to the news around the league, the Phillies did get swept by the Houston Astros, and therefore the New York Mets are now back in the division lead by a half a game in the NL East. A lot to talk about in this game. Let's get right into it. And this was the box score. The major thing that everybody needs to know if you didn't watch this game. And honestly, the first couple of innings, I was out and I was traveling on my way back home watching the game on the MLB app. And I also opened up my Twitter account and I saw the news about Griffin Canning. You see the stat line here for Griffin Canning on the right-handed side of your screen. 2 2/3 innings, no earned runs given up, only 36 pitches. It's unfortunate. What the Mets right now are calling an ankle injury It was a non-contact injury. And I hate to start this stream on a somber mood like this with Griffin Canning. I'm not paying attention right now, so if anybody has any updates during this live stream, please go ahead and drop those live chat comments and let me know what Mendoza or anybody else is saying about this injury. But all we know right now about Griffin Canning is that they labeled it as an ankle injury, quote unquote. There's been a lot of speculation that this could be an Achilles injury, given the way things looked during the replay. Honestly, I don't want to speculate. I'm never going to speculate. It's a non-contact injury. It looks like he kind of extended his calf muscle on a ground ball in that third inning. And of course, he was taken out of the game and it didn't look good. And that's the situation that this Mets rotation is faced with. And that comes at a time where Kodai Senga, again, has gone down. Minaya, actually great news about Minaya. He is throwing again and is scheduled to complete his rehab assignment within the next week. But Griffin Canning, who has been posting numbers above expectation, I know that he has struggled over the past couple weeks, but he has been posting really good numbers. And to see that type of injury go down is not pleasant because I think that he's going to be out for a little bit. And if it's an Achilles, and again, I don't want to speculate, a lot of people have already speculated, but if it is, clearly he's going to be done for the year. That's a season-ending injury. So hopefully it has something to do with the ankle and not the Achilles. But with what the replay showed, it didn't look too good. It didn't look too good. But on a better note, outside of that injury, this is still a win that we're talking about. This was a much-needed win that we're talking about, by the way. The bullpen held it down. The bullpen held it down. I want to give a big salute, a big round of applause to Mr. Austin Warren. Austin Warren coming in and going above and beyond 2+ innings of work out of the bullpen. Scoreless, might I add, against a very talented Braves lineup that has given the Mets trouble. He did his job and then some, keeping the Mets in this ballgame. And he comes out with the win. Austin Warren comes out with the win in this ballgame. The losing pitcher, Grant Holmes, didn't throw that bad. He had a lot of good stuff working, 6 strikeouts. He had some electric stuff, but the Mets did just enough in the middle innings. This bullpen held it down amidst conversations that I have had on my channel in videos surrounding this bullpen potentially being taxed, overworked, whatever term you want to use. This bullpen showed up. Austin Warren, Daniel Nunez, 2 scoreless innings. If that's the version of Daniel Nunez that we are going to get moving forward, reminiscent of 2024 Daniel Nunez, that is a sign of great life for the New York Mets. Ryan Stanek, scoreless inning. The Mets, or I should say the Braves, didn't amount to hit until that 9th inning off of Edwin Diaz, who also, by the way, posted a scoreless inning. Really, really good stuff from this bullpen. But a special shout out to Austin Warren, and even more so of a shout out, getting back to his former self that we saw last season in Daniel Nunez. Because this team needs Daniel Nunez to get back on track. With all the bullpen injuries, with all the inconsistencies, right? Ryan Stanek, I understand he's posted 3 scoreless outings in a row, but before that, he was a little bit inconsistent. Jose Buto also was a little bit inconsistent before recently turning it around. If this Mets bullpen can get last year's variation and version of Daniel Nunez, coupled with Brooks Raley also coming back as a lefty option in this bullpen, the bullpen's going to be in good hands. Now, they'll still need a deadline acquisition. I'm not trying to sell anybody on the fact that they won't need a bullpen acquisition at the deadline. But with Daniel Nunez coming back with a vengeance and Brooks Raley also coming back, posting great numbers in his rehab assignment, that's a good recipe for success on a bullpen that has been honestly overtaxed. It has been. Let's be honest. So really good stuff. I saw really good stuff out of this bullpen. And like with the merry-go-round that the Mets have been deploying here with the recent moves of sending people down, calling people up. I mean, Jonathan Pintaro was, trying to close out a ball game and he failed to do so yesterday, gets sent back down. We saw Dickie Lovelady, I believe his name is, get called in for a game earlier this series and then get DFA'd. Luis Castillo also was in this series and then got DFA'd. David Stearns at this point of the season is clearly just trying to make things work until there's a respectable timeline come the MLB trade deadline. Sending guys up, sending guys down. Now, what we have to talk about with this Griffin Canning injury, because no matter how you shake it, whether it's an Achilles, whether it's an ankle, we don't know the official diagnosis right now. But however you shake it, he's going to miss significant time. The way in which he went down is very indicative that he's probably going to miss significant time. So what happens in this rotation between tonight when this injury occurred and when Sean Manaea gets back? Now, I still think Manaea is not going to get back until post All-Star break, but if the reports are suggesting that I've seen him being back or completing his rehab assignment within the next week, maybe we see him within the week prior to the All-Star break. But how do the Mets fill that gap? I think Blade Tidwell is going to get another start. I think he had a really good outing, all things considered, in his last outing, and I think that he's earned himself another start. But more so, I brought this up on our stream the other day, by the way, on the postgame. It was yesterday, actually. It was yesterday. Nolan McLean. Is David Stearns going to have enough faith in this farm system with the rising talent on the pitching side? No, I'm not talking about Jonah Tong. No, I'm not talking about Brandon Sproat, who has struggled so far this season, albeit. I'm talking about Nolan McLean, who got promoted to AAA not too long ago and is dominating AAA. I think that is a viable option for the New York Mets if they need a spot start before Sean Manaea goes down. And at this point of the season, I would assume that David Stearns has Nolan McLean on some sort of quote-unquote no-trade list, untouchables. And if that's the case, then why not give the young guy a shot to see what he has got? Why not? So I'm forward thinking here in terms of this Griffin Canning injury. It's not pretty. It's not good. Griffin Canning has exceeded above everything, above all expectations so far this season. No matter how the last 2 weeks have gone for him, he has exceeded expectations and then some. And it's really unfortunate to see what I think is such a serious injury go down tonight. Non-contact, again, extending that leg off the back of the mound, extending the calf muscle, and at that point, it's anyone's guess what it could be. And now the Mets, with Frankie Montas back, Sean Manaea is not quite there. Kodai Senga is not going to be there until post All-Star break, they have a decision to make on what they do with this rotation. Big question mark there with this rotation. All right, let me get back into the comment section here. Let me get back into the comment section here. I definitely appreciate everyone commenting. Hopefully the audio is clear. If I'm going to be really honest with you all, I wasn't planning on doing this post game. I put this together very last minute for you all to talk about this team and talk about a much needed victory back to back against the Atlanta Braves. But I wasn't going to do this, so I'm severely underprepared. I will say that. But nonetheless, we're talking about the New York Mets, so who gives a damn? Eric is saying, waiting for MRI confirmation surrounding Griffin Canning. So, again, let me just go on X real quick to see if there's any notifications that I haven't seen so far. Thursday night win from the New York Mets account. Carlos Mendoza had this to say about Griffin Canning's injury. It sucks. You hate to see it, especially the way he went down right away. Feel sorry for the guy, especially how big he's been for us. Mendoza, Griffin, breaking news, I guess. This is from Underdog MLB, at Underdog MLB, from Carlos Mendoza. Griffin Canning believed to have suffered an Achilles injury. That's the worst possible scenario that we could have gotten out of tonight. That's season ending, of course. That's an injury where you see a lot of basketball players have because of the sharp cuts. But with the way that his ankle, not ankle, but really more so the foot and the heel kind of went down on the backside of the mound, with that hyperextension, the best case scenario would have been a strained calf. Worst case scenario would have been a torn Achilles. And from Carlos Mendoza, it seems to be, again, MRI confirmation, as we're stating, it seems to be an Achilles injury. That's a guy that won't be in this Mets rotation for the rest of this season. And that's another roster spot that the Mets and David Stearns have to figure out what they're going to do. So it sucks. It sucks. There's no other words to say at this point other than that it sucks. First, Kodai Senga. I mean, his injury wasn't as grave as this one, but now Griffin Canning, and the Mets rotation is getting beat up a little bit with the injuries. The bullpen already went through it earlier this season with AJ Minter, Danny Young, and now this Mets rotation is going through it. But again, when I say, and I bring up the name Nolan McLean, I really do think that he could make an impactful difference, and especially if David Stearns and this front office think that he's going to be a part of this organization for years to come. It doesn't matter if you bring him up for one start, and if he gets shelled, it doesn't matter. It's a learning experience. But the upside of what you can get for him coming in for a spot start could make all the difference in the world, especially before they get Sean Manaea back. All right, that's the pitching outlook. So just terrible news. I mean, we're going on 19 and a half minutes on this stream. Pitiful news about Griffin Canning. I wish him a speedy recovery. Of course, he signed a 1-year deal worth $4.25 million for the New York Mets. He's going to be a free agent after this season, and the Mets are going to have to decide what they want to do with him. But all things considered, I will say a really good bounce back for Griffin Canning in his career numbers wise. And I think that's something to take forward for him as motivation, even after, recovering from that injury moving forward. So really good stuff from Griffin Canning, and all the best. I mean, there's nothing that anybody can say other than wishing him a speedy recovery. But let's get back into this Mets box score here from the lineup perspective, because this is a 4-0 win. You get hits from multiple guys, and it does say Luis Torrens was 0 for 5 with a strikeout. He was actually 0 for 4, not 0 for 5. So I apologize about the typo. But a lot of guys getting involved in this win. A lot of guys in this lineup getting involved with this win. Lindor, 1 for 4 with the run scored. Brandon Nimmo, 1 for 4. Juan Soto, 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. And by the way, if you all missed my video about Juan Soto and the historic month of June that he has had in a Mets uniform, and how much fun he's having in this Mets uniform so far this season. I linked that video. I posted it around 1 p.m. Something about YouTube, I'm going to be very honest with you all. Something about YouTube videos and the long form videos have been absolutely, how do I say this? YouTube has diminished the views on them. So I'm not really sure who these videos are reaching. But anyways, that's a YouTube algorithm problem. So in case you all missed the video, hit the thumbs up buttons on that video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications button, because sometimes when I post a video, I'm not really sure if anyone gets the notification on them. But if you missed the video, I'll link it down below. I talked about the historic multi-home run performance and Juan Soto etching himself in MLB history. But also, Juan Soto is having a month that is, I would say arguably, but it's hard to argue. Like, who are you going to argue against this point? He is having a month that is probably the best offensive month that we have seen, perhaps in Mets franchise history. Definitely within the past decade, but perhaps in all of Mets franchise history with what he's doing with the bat. Average, OBP, OPS, RBIs going up, right? Walks remaining the same, getting on base, contributing to the 485 OBP that he's had this season, or this month, I should say. Really good stuff from Juan Soto. Really good stuff from Juan Soto. But how about Pete Alonso? How about Pete Alonso? Listen, the New York Mets did not take advantage of an early game situation with runners on second and third and 1 out, and Francisco Lindor coming up to the plate and he strikes out. After that, Brandon Nimmo strikes out, or he flies out, I should say, on the very first pitch to end the inning. They could not take advantage of that situation. But in the following inning, Tyrone Taylor steps into the box with bases loaded, less than 2 outs, and he does the job with a sacrifice fly. He was 0 for 3, an RBI. You still get high fives in that scenario. Really good job from Tyrone Taylor. And I was actually really surprised with Jeff McNeil in the at-bat prior to Tyrone Taylor's RBI. I was really surprised with the fly ball out to Michael Harris III why Juan Soto didn't tag up on that play, because he would have been safe. I know Michael Harris is a really good center fielder. He's got a good arm, got really good range. I think that Juan Soto should have scored on that Jeff McNeil would-be sac fly. But nonetheless, Tyrone Taylor gets the job done. But really, to add on to that first run, Pete Alonso, who has struggled. Pete Alonso has struggled mightily over the past 2 weeks. Really good to see him coming around with the bat in this game. And you can see it right here. I'll prop it up one more time. 3 for 4 with an RBI for Pete Alonso today. Base hit up the middle. It was a 2-out, runners in scoring position situation, and he gets the job done. That's the stuff you love to see out of Pete Alonso. And I know that he's been slumping over the past couple of weeks, but he's been posting a really good season nonetheless. Really good season nonetheless. So, good things from this offense. I'll say Grant Holmes is not the best of what the Braves have to offer, clearly, but he's still a pretty damn good pitcher. And I think the Mets, all in all, put together competitive at-bats. And again, the bullpen just really held it down for this offense to do its thing. Let me get back into the comments here. It does, Ray. It does suck. It sucks. The news surrounding Griffin Canning sucks. Committee. Montas, Holmes, Peterson, Blackburn. I'm good on seeing Paul Blackburn in this rotation. I'm good on seeing him in this rotation. I'm sorry. I cannot watch another Paul Blackburn start. Out of the bullpen, maybe it's a different discussion. But if you had to give me a scenario where you ask me, would you rather take your chances with Paul Blackburn on the mound versus Nolan McLean at the major league level right now? I'm taking Nolan McLean. No harm, no foul. It's not like I anticipate David Stearns shopping Nolan McLean at the trade deadline. So give him the experience. If he fails, he fails. And that's okay. You're already taking the chance with Ronnie Mauricio, who also had some really good at-bats in this game, and he slowly turned it around as of late. You're taking the chance with this young talent in Ronnie Mauricio from the offensive standpoint. Why not take a chance with the young prospect in Nolan McLean from the pitching standpoint? That's my take. That's my take. And the pitching tonight was stellar. Absolutely, Eric. 100%. 1,000%. He was on it tonight. 100% Oliver. So we'll see what the Mets do from the pitching front. But for me, you know, we always talk about the trade deadline, what David Stearns can do, what is he going to do, what do we expect him to do? I think he's going to go out there and make some big moves. I would hope so, because this Mets team needs some big moves to happen. And I'm not talking about getting Manaea, Vientos, and Brooks Raley back, and Senga. I'm not talking about that, because like we know the Mets are a good team with those guys, but what's going to put them over the hump in this NL, this stacked NL at this point, to be World Series contenders? There needs to be at least two big moves, offensively or from the pitching standpoint, whether it's in the rotation. And at this point, the Mets need a rotation arm. I'm sorry to say. If they want to continue with this six-man rotation, even when Senga and Manaea are back, they're going to need a rotation arm. We'll see how big of a rotation arm they target, but this Mets team needs a bat. Good news as well is that Jesse Winker is also on his way back. He's going to be starting a rehab assignment next week, which is good news because we haven't seen him in quite a long time, ever since that St. Louis Cardinals series in St. Louis earlier this season. But I think with the way the offense is going right now, we need another bat. And clearly, I think this Mets team, David Stearns knows that we could use another bullpen arm. But really good production today, I would say, all in all, from the New York Mets. I think Nimmo has been putting together a lot of good at-bats recently as well. He goes 1 for 4. McNeil also getting the job done with 2 RBIs. He goes 1 for 3. And it's really about this, because I don't expect this Mets top 4 to continue to struggle between Lindor, Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, but it's really about the production that you get from the bottom of the lineup. And I think that McNeil, for me, is working his way into that circle of trust because he's been pretty consistent over the past couple of weeks. But for me, it's what type of production are the Mets going to get from the 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters? And I released a video just last week saying, and this is back when Francisco Alvarez was still on this team, that the Mets aren't getting production from the bottom of the lineup. Tyrone Taylor is a good bat. On a World Series team, I don't think he is a starting player in this lineup. The Mets objectively need another bat. And so when we're talking about potentially seeing this offense take off, I'm talking about getting another bat come this MLB trade deadline. I don't care if it's a DH and you have to move things around with Marte and Winker. I don't care if it's it's a center fielder. Get me a bat that you can insert into this lineup and lengthen the lineup and take some pressure off of the Mets' bottom of the order. That's what I'll say about that. Good win all around. Good win all around. Can't complain at all. Evening this series up after an abysmal first two games. Taking the division lead, by the way, from the Philadelphia Phillies. Can't complain. It's been tough times for the New York Mets over the past 13, 14 days. I understand that. But it's 162. It's a season of 162. This team is going to be A-okay, I promise. I promise. There's deadline moves that need to happen, but this team is going to be okay. Mets travel to Pittsburgh starting tomorrow for game one of that series. Tomorrow, Friday, June 27th. I will be at the game. Zach will be at the game. And Rob will be at the game. If anybody's in Pittsburgh, let us know. And we'll be rooting on our New York Mets in Pittsburgh, hopefully coming away with the series win. The Mets are not going to be seeing Paul Skeens in this series, which is really good news. They have to take advantage. Really, after evening this series up against the Atlanta Braves, I really do think that this should be, and the Mets should be treating this series upcoming as a get-right series. And at this point, I know that he kind of got shelled against the Philadelphia Phillies on Sunday Night Baseball, his last start. But David Peterson, there's nobody in this Mets rotation right now that's healthy that I would rather have on the mound to start a series off with a win than David Peterson. And he's going up against Mitch Keller. This is the second meetup between these two teams this season. And we'll see how tomorrow goes. So I appreciate everyone being a part of this post game. I'm not going to make it a lengthy one. I'm here by myself. I definitely appreciate you all tuning in. Again, smash those thumbs up buttons. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel for more streams, more content. Follow me over on TikTok. If I'm not posting videos on YouTube, I'm usually posting some videos over on TikTok. Sometimes I'll post videos on both platforms, the same video, so you'll see it twice. But it's True Mets Talk over on TikTok. You know where to follow me over on X, Instagram, all that fun stuff. All that fun stuff. So I appreciate the chat. Darren, Eric, Frank, everybody, Oliver, committee. Y'all are the best. Nelson, Warren and Nunez. Yeah, Warren and Nunez carried this game. The Mets wouldn't have won this game if it wasn't for these two guys. And Daniel Nunez, I will say, I will reiterate what I said earlier in this stream. Daniel Nunez it was a must to have that type of performance. And I'm hoping that Daniel Nunez can carry that over into future outings. So I appreciate it. Let's go Mets. Frank is saying, CP, you the best. I definitely appreciate it. Smash those thumbs up buttons if you haven't done so already on this stream. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Subscribe. Almost to 2.4K subscribers on the channel. Again, help me out a little bit. YouTube, the algorithm, not good. Not good. They've been doing something to the videos. They've been doing something to the channel in terms of the growth. Not good. But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's go, Mets. Not really a winning streak. I was going to say 2-game winning streak, but it's not really a winning streak. But a really good last 2 games of this series against the Atlanta Braves, trying to carry that over into the Pittsburgh Pirates series. Shout out to Darren as well in the chat. Always a loyal subscriber of the True Mets Talk podcast here on YouTube. I definitely appreciate it. See you all on a future video. Let's go Mets. Let's start game 1 tomorrow on a high note. See you all in future content. Let's go Mets. Peace.